Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS Store at 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. Larry Holly joins us today to lead off the show. Coach, a good weekend for you, winning 2 games out of the 3 played at home. And how are you feeling in general after the 3-game set?
Feeling much better than that. We let one get away, and great credit to Maryville University. That's why they're tied for first. And had them down 14 at the half, came out, didn't shoot well, and candidly was concerned. Right. Because UMSL's a very good team. Rockhurst is a rival, and love the way we bounced back in both those games. UMSL, again, that was a great win for us, and then we took care of business again against Rockhurst.
Let's start talking about Maryville, and you talked about the great first half you played. So if you throw out that second half, pretty near a perfect weekend for you in a lot of ways, but a 59-54 loss to Maryville to lead off the weekend.
Well, you know, again, I think it was might have been 36-22, something like that at the half. We came out in the second half and got every shot we wanted. Nothing fell. We scored 5 points in the first 12.5 minutes of the second half, scored only 18 for the half. We had 12 shots in the paint, made 1 in the second half. 6 out of 31, 3 out of 11 from 3, 3 out of 18 from 2. It just wouldn't fall in. We played well. We got 15 offensive rebounds, only had 7 turnovers. One of the best performances. We played well. And it just shows that you can play well, but if you don't shoot well, it's a struggle. You can shoot well, which may overcome poor play. If you do them both, you've got something going. And we just forgot to shoot it well. But very happy with the way we played, but obviously the outcome was disappointing.
I asked Joe Crest after they did not shoot well at Lewis a couple of weeks ago, is controlling the shooting the most frustrating part of coaching for you? I mean, because it seems like you don't have a lot of control over it.
No, I mean, the things that should always be consistent, I've always thought, have been your defense, your rebounding, and your free throw shooting. I just think those things should be consistent, you know, throughout the season. And your shooting, you're going to have good shooting days and bad shooting days. And we had a bad one. And we had a great shooting half, first half,
right,
and
exactly.
a very poor shooting half, the second half. So, you know, guys aren't trying to miss, and we got the shots we wanted. They just didn't fall. But again, very proud of our comeback against UMSL and continuing on against Rockhurst.
Let's talk about the UMSL game, a 79-71 win by the Cardinals on Saturday. What made that game kind of turn around for you?
Well, we had a couple things happen in that game. Early in the game, our starting 5, Dylan Deck, our leading scorer and rebounder, got his second foul 2.5 minutes into the game. So he sits out the last 17.5 minutes of the first half. A minute later, John Taylor, our second leading scorer, second leading rebounder, gets his second foul. He sits out the last 16.5 minutes of the first half. So here we are without our 2 leading scorers, 2 leading rebounders, against an outstanding team. And great credit to Nate Croker, senior, who's a forward for us, and Clint McCullough, freshman, who's also a forward to step in and play the 4 and 5. And we rotated Craig Matson in there a little bit as the 4. And we actually had the lead at the half. And so we felt very good. We come out, started the second half, and they each get their third foul. So Dylan just can't seem to avoid the whistle. And but I'm very proud of our bench. They played a great part in that. UMSL's a very, very good basketball team, and it was a great bounce-back win for us.
Yeah, I remember looking at the stats at halftime, and I think the 2 of them, John and Dylan, had played a total of maybe 8 or 9 minutes in the first half, and out of the 100 minutes available, that was pretty significant.
It was a little scary over there on the bench, but that's why you have a squad of 13, 14 people. And again, Nate, I can't say enough about Nate and Clint and the job they did coming off the bench.
I'd like to talk about Nate a little bit because he's a senior on this team. He's kind of worked his way back into the rotation a little bit here. And what's kind of his role on the team right now?
Well, Nate's defender, rebounder, knows how to play, high basketball IQ, can knock down the shot when you need to knock it down. But he understands the system, even though we changed it this year. And probably a little bit to his dismay, our recruiting, we ended up bringing in a pretty good transfer in John Taylor, who's really a 4. We brought in a good freshman in Clint, who's a 4. And it probably affected him as much as anybody. We moved Craig Matson from the 3 to the 4. So all of a sudden he comes back and there's 3 new guys there. And but his work ethic has stayed the same. Everybody wants more playing time. He certainly does. And, but when it's called upon, he's done a nice job.
Rockhurst was the 3rd opponent of the weekend, playing on Martin Luther King Day, an afternoon game with the Hawks. Cardinals win at 70-54. You led from wire to wire. I know you were especially pleased again with the first half.
I was, and a lot of coaches would call that a trap game. Rockhurst doesn't have a fancy record, but Bill O'Connor's one of my good friends and one of the best coaches around. He really is, and I knew he'd have them ready. And then game time, he's not there. Right. He was down with the flu, and he had to be pretty sick not to come to a game. I think that might have been the first game he's ever missed as head coach of the Hawks. But we came out very pleasantly, not necessarily surprised, but very pleased that we came out and really got after it early. And I think we were up 16 at the half. Didn't really put them away any more than that. In fact, they cut the lead to 9 in the second half. But very proud of the first half effort. And, it was workmanlike job in the second. Because you knew Rockhurst was going to make a run, and they did.
Devontae Bell, in particular, played well defensively. He's hit some big shots for us. He had a lot of key free throws this year for us. But defensively on McCann, their leading scorer, did a nice job.
Did a great job. McCann's an outstanding scorer, outstanding shooter. He's their number one guy. And he went 1 for 10 from 3, and I think 2 for 13 overall. And Devontae played 17 minutes in that first half and had a very good offensive first half. I think maybe had 8 points at the half. But the thing he did for us was really set the tone with his defense.
Had a chance to take and I don't want to bring this up too much, but a chance to take a look at a new starting lineup in that game due to various circumstances. Andrew Schofield got a chance to start in a rotation and had 3 guards, really maybe 1 post. Now, how did you like that rotation?
Well, that was fine, and I'll just tell you what happened. We had a walkthrough that morning, and Dylan, the alarm went off. He hit the snooze button and didn't wake back up.
I've never done that, by the way.
And and Dylan's never late to anything. If he'd have been late, probably would have started him, but he missed the entire session. Felt like I needed to bench him, and then he got in foul trouble. Played only 14 minutes anyway. But it was just a circumstance that we adjusted to. Andrew Schofield could play the 2 or the 3, and we decided to go with that line. We could have gone a lot of ways. We could have started Nate or Clint or Andrew or Cyril. There's a lot of guys that we could have started. Decided to go with the smaller lineup because of Rockhurst's lineup, and it paid off. And then Dylan and others came off the bench and did a nice job.
Cardinals are 8-7 overall and 4-3 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Now you go to the land of Lincoln with Illinois Springfield on Thursday night and Quincy on Saturday. What's the scouting report for this weekend?
Well, they're both good teams. Their records are not as good as they were this time last year, but I'll just quote one game to you. The team that's probably playing the best in our league right now, east or west, is Southern Indiana. They have 1 loss in the league. It was to Illinois Springfield.
Wow. Yeah.
Enough said. We're watching video on them. They're very, very talented. They've got a lot of new faces. I think they're still learning the system, learning to play with each other. They're especially good at home, like most teams, better at home than on the road, and especially with all the newcomers they have. So we'll have our hands full, but I like the way we're playing. We'll have to strap it on, though, because they're very talented.
Yeah, the road trips are tough in the GLVC, and the Cardinals have back-to-back games coming up this weekend again. Thursday is at Illinois Springfield, and then Saturday at Quincy. That is the first part of our show, Inside the Cardinal Playbook. Coach Ollie will rejoin us toward the end of the show for Coach to Coach. We're back with head coach Jill Crest of the Cardinal Women after this.
I'm going to change the world. I've got computers, I've got financing, I've got clients. I've got a business plan. I have VC money. I've got a game-changing idea. I've given myself room to grow. We're dangerous. Very dangerous. This is only the beginning. I'm going to own the future. There's just one problem. I don't know how to print this.
Professional printing.
Help?
And everything else a small business needs. Now at the UPS store.
I love logistics.
Who's serving up a big breakfast this weekend?
On an endless buffet with a juicy steak.
Don't flip out.
Only Golden Corral would include steak for breakfast. It's on our endless weekend breakfast buffet, all for a great low price. Only at Golden Corral.
Hi there, this is Kurt McCoy, local owner, Shop Local 365 KC. Shop Local 365 KC, the home of MFS Design Services. We design websites and we do search engine optimization. We can help you shoot a local video for your event or for your business. and we can also help you with social media consultations. Contact us today at www.shoplocal365kc.
Welcome to Inside the Cardinal Playbook as we resume with head coach Jill Kress in our second segment. Welcome, Coach Kress, and I see that you're still alive. I wasn't so sure after the Rockhurst game. That's a tough weekend when you lose 2 out of 3 at home, and especially, I think, the way you played against Rockhurst, you weren't very happy with.
No, when we lost to UMSL, I thought we played well defensively. I mean, we held them to 46 points, and, in that game, you can go back as a coach and look at all the little things maybe you could have done differently. So maybe that game was a little harder. I think to be honest with you, I was just really disappointed in our play, both offensively and defensively. But Rockhurst, but Rockhurst had a lot to do with that. They did a really nice job. They've been struggling this season, and I think just from talking to some people, that was probably their best game. And so, it wasn't all of us. It was a lot of what Rockhurst did, and I don't think we responded real well. They just really came in with a high intensity, and if we don't shoot the ball well, we are going to struggle. We're just, not a very big team, and numbers-wise and height-wise. Just, and I think defensively as a whole, we usually do pretty well. But we have struggled a little bit this year with shooting, and to have your defense and your offense struggle, it wasn't pretty last night.
Rockhurst came in and got out to a lead, and you really never got into the game. But a lot of people just say, well, was that a game you overlooked because of their 3 wins coming in? And that's the easy way out, though, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, I don't think, I think our players do a good job. I think as coaches we do a pretty good job of not ever overlooking. And Rockhurst, I've told a lot of people, is a really scary team because you look at how they play. A lot of top teams, they play them very, very well. And, there'll be teams that will come in here and handle us pretty easily. And since Rockhurst is our travel partner, they'll play them next or before. And they'll go play Rockhurst, and Rockhurst will play them to a 2 or 3 point game. And Larry does a great job there. They're the reason I don't think we look past Rockhurst. It's in-town rival. Yeah. And, so that part was disappointing. I know our players were disappointed, but again, I think Rockhurst just really came in and played really well.
And the few times we've played Rockhurst over the years I've been here, it seems like they always make it difficult for us to play against them. And then you add in, again, they play very, very well. Yeah. That was a tough combination. Yeah,
it has been in the past, kind of, there's been times that we've lost to him before where I didn't think we should, and probably he thinks the same way with us. But, again, I think it's just a lot of local kids, it's a fun game. Yesterday wasn't a lot of fun sitting there, but for me, I knew we lost that game when there was probably 15 minutes left or 18 minutes left, and I knew we were going to struggle there. The UMSL game was probably a little tougher for me to take, and because I think there were just little things that we could have done. I'm not sure. There's been times where we've been down like that at halftime. We've really come back and fought back, and they started the second half and really took it to us. And we didn't, we never got a run going. We really never got it back where I thought we were going to get a chance there.
Yeah, the UMSL game was a little bit different, a very low-scoring game. It ended up being 46-41 UMSL. That was on Saturday afternoon. You don't see a lot of low-scoring games, although, you're a defensive coach, but still the style usually is so upbeat, so up-tempo. But it really wasn't that. It was tough to get a rhythm, it seemed like.
Yeah, with the UMSL game on Saturday, they did a really nice job with that. They didn't let us get, we depend a lot on running, and they did a nice job with their transition defense and getting us slowed down there. And they didn't really push the ball to and so that works to their favor. And I really thought if we could keep Rockhurst down and not get into a slow down game with them, we'd be all right. But they really kind of pushed the tempo too, and they did a nice job with it. And it's not the end of the world. I hate to lose. I know our players do, and nobody likes to lose. But we're kind of in a spot where we need to kind of fight back and see what we're made of. And we've got 2 tough games coming up, and you have those kind of times during the season. It kind of depends on how you respond to them.
Jill, I want to talk about that in a moment, but first let's get to the bright part of the weekend, the win against Maryville, 72-64. Yeah. That was on Thursday, and that was a game in which you played, I thought, very well.
Yeah, and again, we shot the ball well, and so right. When you shoot well, things seem to kind of go your way. And defensively, if you really have to just depend on your defense, it's going to be a dogfight usually when you play. But we can get it where you can shoot average. You know?
Yeah.
I think we have a chance. And both Maryville, we played well. They're a great team, and so that was a high point for us. And I thought maybe that would help us lead into going into with UMSL and Rockhurst, and I don't think it was a letdown as much as we just couldn't get the ball to drop.
Yeah. Well, Maryville, the team that won the Great Lakes Valley Conference Tournament Championship last year, have the leading scorer in the conference, Abby Detman, and she had a big game against you, but it was one of those things where you were able to stop really everybody else.
Yeah, and I think we did a nice job. She got a lot of rebounds, but as a whole, everybody else did a pretty good job of rebounding, and that was, when you look at the UMSL game late in the game, they got some key offensive boards, and the same way with Rockhurst. They crashed so hard and got a lot of 11 offensive boards in the first half, and that you have to do, and that's just hard work. But everybody's got to do that. You have one person that doesn't, you're in trouble. But
you consider it an effort area? Most coaches do.
Yeah, it's a big effort area, and I think a lot of times you get caught watching, the ball go up, and then when you realize, it's a miss, and those players that get those offensive boards, they just go, they assume every shot's a miss, and that's how they play it. And I think Deathman from Maryville does that. She'll follow her shot. She does a great job. She gets a lot of her own boards,
right.
But she's always, as soon as that ball goes up, she's playing it as a miss. And that's hard to teach, and it's hard to get into a habit of. And fortunate to get kids like that. And a lot of times you have to practice that way, and we do have some drills that. But it's some transferring the practice into games.
Thursday night it will be Illinois Springfield on the road for the Cardinals, and then Saturday afternoon Quincy, and those are going to be tough games. Yeah,
Illinois Springfield, they're below us right now, but they play well. They're tied with Rockhurst, or I think they have one more game than Rockhurst, or actually Rockhurst has one more game now since they beat us. But again, we can kind of play with everybody, and I think in the Great Lakes Valley you just have to be ready to play every time. And then we go Quincy, and they're leading the conference right now on our side, and a very good team, a team that we struggled with last year, and they've got some new kids and some new transfers. So it's not none of the trips are easy, but this isn't an easy road game for us either.
I know this is your show and your segment of the show, but I got to tell a story. I was at practice waiting for you to interview for a pregame interview, and for whatever reason you were delayed a couple of times. 2 different practices this past week. Your team started practice without you. The leaders on that team got the drills going. You came down a couple of minutes after the scheduled starting time, but those people take responsibility, take accountability. I was so impressed by that, and maybe that's not a big thing to a lot of people, but to me that's a huge thing. Yeah,
no, that was good to see, and they didn't do that early, and I really haven't talked to them about it, and it's a great group of girls, and that's what you have to look at, and they're struggling as much as you are to try to figure out what it's going to take, and that was nice to come down and see that, and they're fun to coach. They work hard, and if we can just kind of get that going in the game and get some confidence going, I think we're going to have a good season yet.
Cardinal women on the year are now 9-6, 3-4 in the Great Lakes Valley Conference, and again on the road Thursday night at Illinois Springfield, Saturday afternoon at Quincy. When we come back, it's Coach to Coach. Larry Holly joins Jill and myself on the Coach to Coach segment right after this.
This is corporate headquarters. As you can see, I have a unique business. How do I compete with the big boys? Got this fancy business address, a marketing department, distribution center, got a great team, even a cafeteria.
That's mine.
From packing and shipping to printing and mailbox services, come into the UPS store for everything a small business needs.
I love logistics.
My name is Jesse Limeculer, CEO of Belvoir Winery. The goal of the winery is to serve Liberty as best we can, to make it a destination for people to come to Liberty. There's a lot to see as far as the history goes, from the Odd Fellows to the other buildings that are available on the property. And then also it's a business in the sense we do a lot of events, baby showers, wedding showers, anniversaries, birthdays, and weddings. We're open 7 days a week, 11 to 4 Monday through Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 12 to 6 on Sunday. Belvoir Winery, 110 years in the making.
Before the game or after the game, it's Poor Boy Oil Company for your pre- and post-game food and beverage. ConocoPhillips and BP Amoco Fuels get you to the game, and our large vendors give you great food and beverage choices before or after the game. Our small-town roots and family value philosophies help us to maintain the highest standards in customer service and value. Poor Boy Oil Company. Find us around the Northland, wherever the Cardinals fly.
Welcome back to Inside the Cardinal Playbook, sponsored by the UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. Jill Kress and Larry Holly are here, coach to coach, and today's topic is one that I've been waiting to talk about. Let's talk about racquetball a little bit. This is a topic and a rivalry that's begun, I guess, several years ago, but I'd like to hear the story of how it began and where the rivalry stands right now. Where do we want to start with this?
I'll let him start.
She'll have a different version of this. Back in the day when I first started coaching, I played racquetball every day when I was at Central Methodist College. And it was always doubles. I was not a very good player. When I started playing there, I was the fourth best player, and 6 years later, I was still the fourth best player. Go to Northwest Missouri State, no racquetball course, so I quit playing, started playing a little badminton. Come to Jewel, and all the coaches that were here were the coaches that were here when I played, so didn't work out. Hadn't worked out for quite a while, and then Coach Kress tells me I need to start getting in shape a little bit, and she starts giving me a hard time about playing her racquetball. She had been playing racquetball, and I hadn't played since Central Methodist back in the dark ages. And so finally one day, I don't know why this happened, but it just hit me, okay, she's been accusing me of dodging her, not playing racquetball, and I decided to play. And I'll let you tell her the result of the game. Now, she's going to say that she had to give me CPR, and she did not give me mouth-to-mouth, thank goodness. But I will ask, I'll just let you ask her. I had not played in probably 30, 40 years. And I'll ask you to ask her what the result of that game was.
Well, yeah, let's pick up the story from there.
Well, yeah, you know what the result of the game was, because otherwise he wouldn't have led up to that. He did beat me, but there are a couple reasons with that. I think we played April 25th.
And you gave it, had
and
your baby the next day.
I had Tyson April 26th.
Yeah, right.
And so that was part of it.
Yeah, right.
The other thing, he talked about CPR, and so I'm playing him, and I'm looking back there, and the guy's weaving a little bit, and I was ahead at that time. And so, so I pulled back because it was going to end up being a possibility of CPR, and that was not going to happen on my watch. I wasn't going to do that, so I backed off and let him win that first game.
You let him win.
And also male ego, no offense here, but you've got to let them win a little bit so they'll come back and play. And,
have you ever known her to let anyone win?
That's where I was jumping in there. I said, no, I don't think so.
No,
but it's been a lot of fun. And you know, the first time we played, it was kind of funny because he was out of shape, and so we got through about halfway through that first game, and he had to take a knee.
I did.
So I was winning, and so I had this tally board up on my office door, and he told me to keep track of that because it would change eventually, and I was way ahead, and he started coming back, and once we ended up tied, once he got one game ahead, I decided we're going to start playing just for the health of it.
I show up, and the tally board is no longer there. The tally board was there as long as she had the lead. As soon as I tied her, got the lead, tally board went away. I never understood that.
Any special rules or anything that go into it? You play straight up, or is there any kind of an advantage given on a certain day?
The only thing that bothers me is my advantage is I am in a little bit better shape, and I'm a lot younger than he is, so I want to play the games back to back. Like if we're going to play the best 3 or the best 5, and I was thinking best 5 or best out of 7. Sure. He always has to take a water break halfway through. You know, after a game. After a game, I know.
Every game.
But I think you should just play them all at one time.
You've been after me to drink more water.
Yeah. Well,
so I
to me, that's my only advantage is I can out condition him. And, you know, he takes that away from me.
A lot of times we'll play just one game unless I win it, and then we're going to play best 2 out of 3. If I win the first 2, now we're going to play best 3 out of 5. So she's going to play me till I'm dead, you know, and she'll keep serving while I'm laying back there. You know, she does serve when I'm not ready to return serve.
Oh, is that right? You agree with that?
Yes,
I will agree with that.
Looking for an edge?
And she struggles keeping score. You know, she seems to lose track of the score sometimes. I have to correct her from.
Now, I will add one more to that. You know, he can't remember to call me back. He can't remember to get things done. But for some reason, he can always remember the score. Or he'll ask me what the score is, and I'll tell him what it was. And if I'm ahead, if I give him the score that when I'm ahead, then, no, that wasn't the sore. Then all of a sudden he remembers it. And so you cheat.
William Jewell has an honor code now for students. It's Not working with her. No honor here to my right.
Who is more competitive on the racquetball court then?
She probably is.
He has a different. I get fiery. His competitiveness, it's kind of a quiet competitive, but you can tell when he's extremely competitive. It's just more of he doesn't talk. You don't talk a lot about it.
Neither one of us like to lose, you know, and even if I'm a little under the weather, she's not taking it easy on me, and if she's a little under the weather, I'm sure not taking it easy on her. So it's pretty competitive, and there'll be days that no shots are going in, and you know, you're still playing your tail off and nothing seems to work. She's beaten me 15-0 or 15-1, and I've returned the favor a couple times.
But I will tell you, the one thing that Bob drives me crazy is when we get ready to play, he will say, he'll go through all of his ailments. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to play, my back or my... So then I'm like, if I win, well, I should have won. If I lost, and I just lost to somebody, that it drives me nuts. Before every game, you have something wrong with you.
Absolutely. There's...
And, yeah.
Prior to every game, don't you give the condition of players?
Right. You've got
every
to have
time there's something on TV,
really?
somebody's under the weather, somebody's ill.
Training room report.
I just want it out there. I don't want to. I don't want to lose and then tell her I wasn't.
It's a no-win situation for me.
Certainly is.
Yeah.
Jill Kress and Larry Holly, coach to coach, and we'll be back with a final word on Inside the Cardinal Playbook after this.
So, I'm my own man. I can work from home. I can make meetings, I can make deadlines, I can make proposals, I can remember birthdays, I can entertain clients, I can pay for lunch. Yeah, I can do it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:15, I can do anything. Done, on it, yes, taken care of. 50 two-sided bound color presentations by tomorrow, I can do that. How do I do that? I love logistics.
It's tailgating time, so I'm picking up some onions and cheese for my burger recipe. No matter what team you're cheering for, you're going to be a huge fan of my special burger with red onion marmalade and blue cheese. Why is it so good?
Why?
Because it's my recipe. Who cares about the football when the burgers are so good? Now we'll really hear them cheer. Who wants a burger? Come and get it.
Sometimes happy marriages fall apart, and divorce is the only way out. At a time like this, you need an attorney who will listen to you and will work for you. I'm Stephanie Shutt, and I understand that divorce can be hard for anyone, and I know the importance of a fair settlement. The decisions that are made now will affect the future happiness and well-being of you and your family. At Costello and Farah, we will fight for you. Call or visit 505-HELP and let me help you.
That's going to do it for Inside the Cardinal Playbook, brought to you by the UPS Store, 5510 Northeast Antioch in North Kansas City. It's Illinois Springfield on Thursday night and Quincy University Saturday afternoon for the Cardinals this coming week. And remember, you can hear the live play-by-play of both games on the William Jewell College Sports Network on the Jewell Athletic website. Thanks for joining us on Inside the Cardinal Playbook.